What if I told you that there are animals on Earth that might never die? Not from old age, not from disease. They could just keep going. Immortal lobsters, death-defying jellyfish, and creatures that literally regrow their entire bodies. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's not that simple. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know which animals might actually live forever and what that really means for us humans. Let's get one thing straight before we dive into the deep sea, or the petri dish. When we say immortal, we don't mean invincible. These creatures can still be eaten, crushed, or get sick. The difference is, they don't seem to age in the way we do. Humans, like most animals, have a biological clock ticking away inside us. Our cells divide, our DNA gets a little more frayed around the edges, and things just start to wear out. It's a fundamental part of life. But for a few extraordinary species, it seems like they've found the pause button on aging. And that brings us to the most famous of them, all the immortal jellyfish. Meet Toratopsis, Dorni, tiny, almost invisible jellyfish found in the Mediterranean Sea. It's barely 4 millimeters long, about the size of a pinky fingernail, but it has one of the most mind-blowing survival tricks in all of nature. When it gets injured, stressed out by its environment, or even starts starving, instead of dying, it does something that defies belief. It reverses its own aging process. Think about it like this. Imagine you're 90 years old, feeling the weight of the years, and suddenly your body could just transform back into a newborn baby, ready to start all over again. That is exactly what this jellyfish does. It reverts its cells to their earliest stage, becoming a polyp attached to the seafloor, essentially starting life over. Scientists have a fancy name for this: transdifferentiation. It's like hitting a biological reset button. Now, does that make it truly immortal? In theory, yes. It could repeat this cycle forever. But in the wild, not really. Not really. Most of them get eaten long before they get the chance to reboot. Still, it's the closest thing to biological immortality we have ever seen. And guess what? It's not alone. Floating in quiet little tanks of fresh water in labs all over the world lives another creature that might just cheat death forever. The Hydra? No, not the multi-headed monster from Greek mythology that Hercules fought. This one's real, and it's microscopic. Hydras are tiny, tube-shaped relatives of jellyfish, and they possess an almost limitless ability to regenerate. If you cut one in half, you don't kill it. You just get to brand new hydras. Scientists have been studying these little guys for decades, and here's the truly shocking part. In controlled lab environments, where they're safe from predators, hydras show zero signs of aging at all. Their stem cells are in a constant state of renewal, their tissues rebuilding themselves indefinitely. One study estimated that a hydra could live for centuries, possibly even forever, if nothing external kills it. So yes, these little blobs of cells are, for all practical purposes, biologically immortal. And meanwhile, we humans are still struggling to remember where we put our car keys. It's a little humbling, isn't it? Next up, let's talk about the lobster. There's a popular myth that lobsters are immortal. And while that's not entirely true, there's definitely something strange and fascinating about them. Lobsters don't seem to age in the way we expect. Most animals, including us, get weaker as they grow older. Lobsters, they just keep growing stronger, bigger, and even more fertile with age. The secret lies in an enzyme called telomerase, which acts like a little mechanic, constantly repairing their DNA over and over again. In humans, our telomerase production slows down as we get older, which is a key part of the aging process. But in lobsters, it keeps working for their entire lives. So, why don't we see 200-year-old lobsters the size of small cars swimming in the ocean? Because of a process called molting. To grow bigger, a lobster has to shed its hard shell, and this process gets harder and harder as they get larger. Eventually, the sheer effort of breaking out of their old shell becomes too much, and they die from exhaustion. So, they don't die of old age. In the traditional sense, they die because growing becomes too difficult. Biological immortality foiled by a bad molt. Not all long-lived animals are tiny, though some are absolutely massive and ancient. Take the Galapagos tortoise. Some specimens studied by Charles Darwin himself lived to be 175 years old. One named Jonathan is still alive today at over 190. Then there's the Greenland shark, the oldest known vertebrate on the entire planet. By analyzing the proteins in their eyes, scientists have discovered some of these sharks were born before the American Revolution. That's right, swimming around in the cold, dark waters of the Arctic today are sharks that are over 400 years old. They don't stop aging entirely, but they do it so incredibly slowly that it almost looks like immortality in motion. So what's their secret? Living in frigid water definitely helps, as it slows down their metabolism to a crawl. But scientists also believe they have incredible DNA repair mechanisms that we still don't fully understand. These creatures are living proof that time can move at a very different pace. And this is where it gets really interesting for us. Scientists studying these incredible animals aren't just doing it out of pure fascination. They're inspired. Could we borrow their tricks to extend human life? Hydras are teaching us how stem cells can potentially stay forever young. The immortal jellyfish is showing us that, at least in principle, cells can reverse their own development. And lobsters reveal the power of maintaining perfect DNA repair. All around the world, companies and universities are already experimenting with age reversal, cell regeneration, and gene editing techniques directly inspired by these creatures. Now, we are a long way from any kind of immortality pill. But this research could one day lead to treatments that help humans live much longer and healthier lives. Maybe not forever, but long enough to see things we once thought were impossible. So, can animals really live forever? The answer is ... Kind of. The truth is, nature already cracked the code for immortality, but it did so in tiny, forgotten corners of the ocean and under the lens of a microscope. But even the so-called immortal jellyfish isn't truly safe from the randomness of life. Perhaps real immortality isn't about living forever in one single form. Maybe it's about surviving long enough to evolve, to adapt, and to start over when things get tough. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of immortality we can all learn from. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed diving into the weird and wonderful world of eternal life, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who loves science and mystery. Until next time, stay curious.